Hey everyone, and welcome to GenZ News Insider Ep.4. And for this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the expectations versus the realities of leaving university life.
We're also going to be looking at how to leverage your network, how to build a network, and what opportunities you can create for yourself after, which will really put you on the right path for your career.
Coming up, we're going to be talking to 3 graduates who are going to give us their advice and insights as to how to overcome the personal and professional challenges of leaving university.
The first 2 speakers we're going to be hearing from are graduates from 2020 as well as 2017.
My expectation of uni was I was going to roll out of uni with a degree. Companies were going to be fighting to snap me up. I was going to rock up to a job interview and ace it on day one without having to really try because I had a degree. That expectation was swiftly shattered.
I wouldn't say I got depression or anything like that upon graduating university. However, I definitely did hit a slump after graduating.
I actually saved up to go traveling for a while, so I did that for a little bit and then ended up coming home and working in a bar for about 8 or 9 months, which from leaving uni was not where I really wanted to be.
If you think about it, if you go straight into university from school or college or wherever you was before that means you've spent 21 or 22 years of your life to educate, like the whole of your life up until that point in the education system. Once that's all over and you've just sort of you're done, that's it. It's the first time for me where you feel like, what do I do now?
So I think having that many decisions in your hands, suddenly going from the structure of school to uni, where you don't really have to make decisions other than perhaps what degree you want to study, it's all on you all of a sudden, and unless you're making the effort to go out there and kind of search for opportunities. I think the biggest thing for me was I was waiting for things to fall into my lap.
I got a job at Sports Direct, like proper reality check, like minimum wage job, but it was good, it was something to do. There was a social element to it.
I just thought I can either go into work every day and get frustrated and be annoyed and think this isn't where I want to be, but in actual fact I love the people that I worked with. I love my job. I love meeting all the people that came into the bar or the restaurant where I work.
It actually taught me that I enjoy and get the best out of having some kind of routine, and that I wasn't as self-disciplined as I thought I was.
That shift kind of in mentality of, okay, what am I doing right now and what are the good things about it was really important.
I spent a lot of time in a society called Enactus. Most universities have an Enactus team, and that was a society around building social enterprises, which are basically businesses that do some kind of social good. And I also did a lot of enterprise competitions. I know Loughborough has a very good enterprise department, but most universities also have an enterprise section within their students' union. Accenture is the company that I've ended up at after university, and the reason I originally got in touch with them is because they were a sponsor of Enactus, the society, so it all sort of ties in. So really sort of leverage that ecosystem of university. There's so much there to do.
I think don't put pressure on yourself to get your dream job on graduation day one, which is exactly what I did. And I think I'm 26 now, and I really only just figured out exactly what I want my career to look like, and I left uni.
Everyone to a degree will have personal champions, is what I call them, like people that are your biggest advocates. You've worked on them with a project before, you did an internship with them, or your university personal tutor you got on really well with. Just send them a message about your situation. Hey, this is what I'm up to. Got any advice? It's really underappreciated how much people want to help individuals.
Excellent value and insights from both Josh and Claudia. The journey of Claudia, I think, is the real kind of reality for most students after uni. You're not going to land your dream job, or very few students do.
Young people do need to realize that sometimes, you will have to just get more of a casual job just as a stepping stone, and you have to embrace that as part of your journey.
And Josh made a really good point about reaching out to your personal champions, not being afraid to send an email to maybe a tutor, someone who helped you during university. Josh touched on, the post-uni depression.
I would say for me, after I graduated in 2019, there were plenty of times where I had doubts. Is this career really for me? Is this really the job I want to work? Is this really the path I want to take in life? And a lot of contemplating, what am I going to do for the rest of my 20s? How am I going to spend the rest of my adulthood from here?
I can tell younger people that there's going to be other stories that you're going to write. So don't think all your best years are condensed into this university life.
Now moving on, we're going to be talking to our next graduate called Kat Lewis, a graduate from Nottingham Uni and now working as a recruiter. She's going to be giving us insights as to what students can be doing both whilst they're still at uni and afterwards when they graduate, in terms of how they can pursue their careers further. Here's what she said.
And I always say to graduates that I talk to, if you're going to be out of a job and you can be sort of doing work experience almost for free, you'd rather be doing something for free and making most of your time whilst you're still searching. Get yourself on the platforms like LinkedIn. It's the classic one, but it's getting so much more important. People are finding jobs through their LinkedIn connections, through that network, through engaging with people's content, commenting on people's posts, building these relationships. And although there's not technically a job available or set, you're developing a connection, making sure you're tailoring that specific application to that role. One of the CVs I've read that always stands out to me was literally at the end. You know, some people put skills or hobbies or interests. Someone just put, I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 30 seconds or something. And I was like, what? Like, really got my interest, but I was much more interested in just this kind of quirky fact. I guess on the other hand, my biggest don't is just sending off generic ones. And then I'd also say making the most of places like that at university. So the skills you learn in societies and you learn in sports teams, they're all going to be really relevant when you're listing them on your CV or your cover letter. You're really highlighting exactly what they'd be looking for in that role. Really just making the most of the skills you can learn in those part-time roles and really highlighting them is probably my best advice for that.
Great stuff from Kat right there. Now, one of the things she's talked about that really hit me hard was how students can be gaining these experiences whilst they're still at uni, which includes the extracurricular activities. And I really relate to her with that because I did a lot of extracurriculars whilst I was at uni, and I felt like I did definitely gain a lot of soft skills like communication and teamwork, which a lot of employers are looking for in young people.
A lot of people saying the real value of university is not in the degrees. The real value of uni is in experience, not just socially. It's the access to different groups, which are going to expose you and help you to develop new life skills, which are hard for young people to develop today. Have in mind life after uni, whilst at uni, and I think that's important when you're making decisions.
I definitely feel like a lot of the things I did outside of my degree, which includes, the extracurriculars, meeting all these people and gaining my network and all the competitions and stuff, those are the things I've definitely felt like I've gained much more whilst at uni.
Young people have been very creative now, more than ever, in terms of how they're building a CV, so you need to keep up with that because the competition is increasing. Personalised things really hit home for employers because it shows you put thought in, it shows you've put the heart into the application. One of the positives that the pandemic's brought is the communities that are being built online. Embrace these communities because I know there's still restrictions at uni. Reach out to the community leaders, and even if you don't find the ideal group, the community leaders are very well connected.
Definitely, building the network and joining all these extracurriculars while you need to build your skills and be career-minded is definitely the number one advice I'd give.
Young people have stepped outside the comfort zone during the pandemic, and I think this is going to really kind of speed up the opportunities and experiences during uni and after.
Thank you all for watching, and for our next episode in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about the value of apprenticeships for young people in their careers.
We'll see you then.
Bye.